Let's have a laugh.
In a world of remakes and remasters,
Are we playing for
what was once sacred and cool has now soured and become lame.
Radical?
Gone are the days of Pons and Cowabunga. Now is the reign of slurp juice and dabs. Kids these days don't even know how bad they've got it. Now it's up to the best generation to rise to the occasion and make a show that dares to go where a lot of other nerdy shows have already gone quite a bit. That's right. They're going to talk about it a lot.
Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. This is Best Gen, where nerds complain about nerdy things, and it's called Best Gen because we're all roughly from the same generation, and we happen to think that it's the best one, but not because we as people are better than you, but because our movies and entertainment certainly were. So strap on in, everybody, and prepare to wax nostalgic as we reminisce upon the days of yore, while simultaneously complaining about the utter filth that's spewing from Hollywood sludge pipes. But there's a lot of good today. You may have noticed I'm completely alone because none of my guests showed up today. I'm just going to be ranting at the camera, and I hope they show up sometime. I got a text from my brother 9 minutes ago talking about something completely unrelated. So maybe he's doing the whole daylight saving. Oh, I fell asleep. I didn't realize that daylight savings time was a thing. Jared will be joining us a little bit late. He did text me, so props to Jared. Give Jared some love in the chat. He's just going to be a little bit late. Dark Jared, or Bearded, can't make it because he's got family obligations. And I haven't heard from the Angry Mexa. I hope he's doing okay. Sometimes he gets busy. But I'm super excited to talk to myself about Shogun, baby. What a good show. If you're not watching Shogun, repent, because it's fantastic. And it wasn't on the schedule because I didn't realize that it came out this week, but I watched The Gentleman on Netflix, which is the Guy Ritchie. That's what I was looking up. I was going to look up his other movies. Guy Ritchie remade his own movie, except it's kind of a reimagining. It's not a sequel. They're not connected story-wise. It's just the same theme. And I really liked the TV show. I really like the movie, and the TV show is pretty dang good too. I wasn't planning on binging all 8 episodes because Netflix, you gotta stop dropping shows like that if you want to build hype. People could have gotten excited for The Gentleman because the first episode was a pretty good banger and a pretty good hook. You could have gotten more people sunk into your TV show week by week. Mark Clark's not a big Guy Ritchie fan. Welcome to everyone in the chat. Mark Clark, our resident channel member. If you want to become a channel member, it's just 99 cents a month, and it really helps. I'd love to be doing this full time. But it's not 100% profitable yet. If the support means a lot, you get access to memes and also early access to some videos when I have the foresight to. No, I'm not saying you're cheap, Mark. I'm saying I'm cheap. I don't value my time as much as you do. So I appreciate everyone who signs up as a channel member. But I try and make it cheap because I don't like begging for money, but it really does help. And if you want to support more, there's a Patreon. The videos that I like producing are very intensive, like my criticisms of the Wheel of Time. And it takes a long time to produce. So any support helps. That would be wonderful. Justin Hancock showed up, and he's not staying for this intriguing monologue of me talking non-stop. Probably won't make it tonight, but Shogun was good. Reminds me of Marco Polo from Netflix. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. I've heard a lot of mixed bags regarding Marco Polo, but I'm thoroughly enjoying Shogun. And Jacob Ironside's in the chat. Hey, y'all. Jacob's wonderful. I've been trying to get Salty Traveling C to talk about Shogun, because a lot of you guys asked for him on the show last time, and he's been out of town, and I think he's agreed to come on at the end of the show and just talk about the whole series. So we'll have that to look forward to. But he doesn't feel like doing a week to week, which I totally respect. It's an investment. I've been going on to the Nerd Boreal Lifeforms live streams directly before this one. I start at 5, and I stream with him for 2 hours talking about the Wheel of Time, and we just barely finished the Fires of Heaven. Did I say the right book? Fires of Heaven? Let me double check. I've been doing a book club with him, and we just finished book 5. Yeah, that's the one we just read. Pretty good. So none of my guests have showed up yet. So we'll just chat. We'll have a good time. And I just wanted to publicly shame them. I just wanted it on record. We could have waited 10 minutes and had them show up and started the stream late. But I wanted you guys to experience this with me. We're almost 15 minutes past the hour, and nobody showed up. But I get it. If you haven't seen Dune yet, you gotta check out Dune. Let's pull up the numbers. Let's do that. Let's talk numbers. Dune's doing pretty good. Sham. I think you're supposed to be saying shame. Let me share my screen real quick. It's okay. It's a bye week anyway. There's not a whole lot to talk about other than 3 episodes of Shogun. So I will forgive my guests for taking a break. They just all happen to do it at the same time, guys. That's what's rough. Share. Well, they should be walked down the streets of King's Landing with an old lady saying shame. Yeah, I think that's what Jacob Ironside was alluding to. So that's what this is. You just get me rambling. To get it wrong 4 times. Yeah. You typed in sham 4 times. And I don't know if this was an autocorrect problem or a you problem. But yeah. I pulled up the wrong one. That's regular Dune, which didn't make a lot of money because of, the pandemic and everything. But Dune Part 2 is doing really well. It had, I think the numbers just came in, and it had a 40% second week drop, which is, I think, the best that any the best performing second week in a very long time. Because films these days are dropping off and dropping off hard. Yeah, so Dune Part 2 has already made the money that the first one made in the second week. And it's looking pretty good. It's got it's got some good legs. It had a great opening weekend, and it's doing pretty darn good internationally as well. You can actually see the original Dune made most of its movie internationally. A good 3 times the amount internationally that it did domestically, which is kind of crazy. I wouldn't think Dune would appeal to a global audience as much as a domestic audience. It feels like more of an American European thing. I'm actually surprised at how much Dune 1 made. $500 million for having its crippling release. If you don't remember, they released Dune in theaters the same day they released it on HBO Max during the pandemic, which is a great way to shoot your film in the foot, and it still made $500,000, which is quite a feat. Let's see how the charts did. Yeah, it pretty much, it tracked at the bottom of its projections after the first week, but obviously there were extenuating circumstances here, but it still fell within the margins for a prediction. So, $500 million, not bad. What was the budget? Yeah, 160. Pretty good. And Dune 2 is performing quite well. On a similar budget, it got a little bit more money for part 2. And great opening. It's got great legs. What were the legs on? Legs are even better on part 1. But we'll see. I'm planning on watching this the second time in theaters. If you haven't watched this in theaters, seriously, like, this is why theaters exist. Got a text. I just got a text from my brother. Look at that. He just texted me. He's asking about microphones. I gotta text him back. You planning on joining the stream, bro? I did not get the popcorn bucket. Man, what a meme that was. I would have loved to get my hands on one. I don't think they weren't available everywhere. But man, what a funny thing. We live in wild times, man. Just the fact that Dune is getting an adaptation that's 90% faithful to the books is pretty wild, because it's a hard book to adapt for sure. I know. I also know last week we were talking about. I was trying to plug the other YouTuber that you guys were asking about Dune lore videos, and I'd done 2 live streams with another YouTuber, but he changed his handle. So it used to be like Shaquille Acquisitioner, and now it's just The Acquisitioner. It's just a small YouTuber. We went in depth. We did 2 live streams. The first live stream was talking about the first 2 books, and the second live stream was talking about books 3 and 4. So that's The Acquisitioner that I did those with. And we've been talking because he finally watched Dune Part 2, and he wants to do some streams about it. So we'll get into it. And I've convinced him to read book 6 with me, and we'll do a little book club on that. I love Dune. The books are phenomenal. These movies were great. Other than the changes to Chani's character, Chani, I don't know how it's pronounced. I thoroughly enjoyed Dune Part 2, and I wanna marathon them and watch both back to back and see how that experience changes it. But what an adaptation. I'm trying to think through past adaptations, and I can't think of any that come to mind. I'm pretty sure Dune is the best adaptation that we've had since Lord of the Rings, just quality wise and in regard to its faithfulness to the books, which if you know Lord of the Rings, they had to change a lot of stuff from the books too, but they really tried. They were faithful in how much they were trying to adhere to the Lord of the Rings, the spirit of the books, right? When it comes to adaptation, I think this is an interesting conversation. When it comes to adaptation from a book to either a movie or a TV show, depending on what you choose, completely changes how you adapt the material. And the way I see it is, if you're making a movie, both of them require sacrifices. There's no way you're going to get a one-to-one book onto screen. It's physically impossible. When you change mediums, you have to make changes, right? And the most obvious dialogue that I bring up on the show all the time is internal monologue, right? In a book, you can have someone thinking in their head. You can't do that on screen in a way that's interesting or satisfactory. Chani came off as a kid throwing a temper tantrum to me. Yes, I agree. She was too much, and her character was swapped. Her character was essentially swapped with Stilgar. Stilgar was supposed to be completely against Paul, and he eventually gets won over. And Chani is supposed to be instantly 100% on board. And they kind of switched those two roles. I don't know the actress's name from the David Lynch film either, but I love that film. Okay, so in adaptation, let's talk theory here. You have to make sacrifices, right? Internal monologue is impossible to show in film, and that has never been more obvious than David Lynch's adaptation of Dune, in where he tries to just do internal monologue, and 80% of the dialogue on screen is happening inside people's heads, and it does not work. I love the film so much, but it fails spectacularly in adapting to the medium, right? It's trying to just be the book, which is, it's funny because then it introduces the word guns, which make no sense. Sean Young is definitely, that is not the actress's name. That's a man's name. I've never met a woman named Sean. Is that an ambidextrous name? What? I've never met a woman named Sean, but you are right. She is gorgeous. Oh, she's in Blade Runner. I didn't realize it was the same girl. Same woman, sorry. Is that sexist? She's gorgeous. Yeah, she's the replicant from Blade Runner. She's the hot one. And she's also in Dune. Wonderful. Okay, so when you're adapting mediums, you have to make sacrifices. It's never going to be perfect. If you choose a movie, the sacrifice that typically needs to be made is omission. There's a lot of condensing going on, and that comes with just completely cutting story arcs, cutting characters, or merging characters, or merging story arcs. And yeah, so that is the sin that movies have to commit, is you have to cut a lot of material. And the Lord of the Rings movies do that very well. They latch on to the themes in Lord of the Rings of good and evil, and the little people banding together, and friendship, overcoming adversity, and standing for truth and righteousness, and throwing rings into lava. The movies don't, Lord of the Rings films, they don't add extra stuff that wasn't in the books. The only time they add extra is the fight scenes, which are all in the books. It's just they make them longer because of the medium that was chosen, right? Filmmaking is a visual medium. So it makes sense to accentuate the visual aspects of a story. And so it, the only, like, it's a generalization. There are a couple little things, but typically the sin of the Lord of the Rings movies are sins of omission. They had to leave out Tom Bombadil. They had to leave out the 10 years that Frodo stays in the Shire after receiving the ring before he goes on his adventure. They had to leave out all kinds of stuff that just, because there's not enough screen time. And to make the films visually interesting, they make the fight scenes a little bit longer. And I know some people are going to be complaining, oh yeah, but what about the elf character? What's the elf woman's name? I always get Éowyn and Arwen mixed up. Éowyn's the human. Arwen is the elf, right? Let me double check. Lord of the Rings. Yeah, Arwen is the elf. See, I got it. I just needed a second. So, they added a lot of stuff for Arwen's character to do. So I'm expecting pushback from what I just said. Oh, the movies didn't add stuff, but the stuff that they added to her character was in the books. It was just other characters doing it. So that is an instance of combining characters together, right? It didn't put anything in the movies that wasn't already in the books. It just gave things to different characters for the sake of streamlining the story. Because there are a lot of characters who show up to do something and then they don't come back in the books. So it's okay to give all those small roles to one character and have them, and condensing, omitting. That is the sin of that is necessary in adapting a movie. Now, there are bad adaptations. There are lots of movies that decide to just add stuff that wasn't in the books because they think they're better writers, right? I do wish they would have shown the weirding way. Yeah, they could have gone into a little bit more detail in Dune about the weirding women and the Bene Gesserit and how their voice does stuff. They did include a good amount of it. Could have used more. I think it's okay because they're planning on doing the prequel television series that's all dedicated to the Bene Gesserit, and if you want to know more about them, you can go watch that. You don't like Tom Bombadil. Structurally, I agree with you. I love Tom Bombadil, and it makes absolute 100% sense, I would have made the same decision to cut him from the film. Because he does not add to the structure. I actually think, hot take, I think that the film, The Fellowship of the Ring, is superior to the book. Just the first one. Structurally, the book has a lot of problems. And it is a testament to how good of a writer J.R.R. Tolkien was thematically, that people kept going, because structurally, The Fellowship of the Ring is an awful book. It opens, and I've complained about this before on the show, it literally opens with an excerpt from an in-universe textbook about the hobbits. That is a horrible, horrible way to start a book series. If you want to instantly grab readers' attention, right? There's a lot of ways you can do it, but you want to start with a bit of excitement. And most books will do a non sequitur, right? You can start with a scene from the future of the people doing fancy stuff, or you start with a character who's not like one of the main characters who does something crazy, or if you want to show it, think about like the police movies, right? If you have a detective or a superhero or a hard grizzled policeman, and you're going to tell a story about him, oftentimes the opening scene in the movie has nothing to do with the rest of the story. It introduces the character at the end of solving a crime, right? You get the ending of, I just figured all this out and I beat the bad guy. Boom, and you introduce the character in a cool way. And then, once you're off to a bang, once you've gripped the reader, you can slow down and get into the textbook excerpts for world building, which the Fellowship does not do. I do not understand his choice in how to open up the Fellowship, and it's not the only problem. I understand why he did it, and I think it was a bad choice. He does it because people were expecting a sequel to The Hobbit, and that's not exactly what they were doing. And he had to retcon a couple tiny details from the original publication of The Hobbit. Bilbo's ring wasn't initially supposed to be the One Ring, so we had to... We all know about the teeny rewrites of The Hobbit to better bring it... Basically just one scene to better bring it in continuity with The Lord of the Rings. So he starts off saying, hey, this is the Hobbits and this is what they did, and you may have read the Hobbit book, and this is how they're going to be involved in the rest of the story. Not a great way to start a book. Also, the inciting incident is so slow. He gets the ring, and they literally wait 10 years. Gandalf pieces off and goes, bye. I'll be back sometime. 10 years later, Frodo has the ring for 10 years. And then they decide that they need to go throw it away because Gandalf figures out that it's not just a regular ring, it's the One Ring. And they need to burn it. So the pacing-wise, it's not great. The way that the viewpoint characters are structured, you don't find out what's happening to Gandalf until... It sticks with the hobbits the whole time. They get to Rivendell, and Gandalf is there, and they're like, Gandalf, we were waiting for you at the inn. Where have you been this whole time? And then the next 5 chapters are Gandalf telling his story to the hobbits about what he was doing the whole time, which is not an exciting way to tell the story. If you already know where the characters ended up, there's no tension, right? So... Fellowship has some structural problems that do not work for me, and I think the movie is far superior in showing you Gandalf and the Hobbit stories happening simultaneously, so you don't know. So they both show up to Rivendell at the same time, and you're like, "Oh, you got away, great." Meanwhile, it's kind of an instance of show don't tell, right? The book literally just tells you, "Hey, where were you, Gandalf? Oh, this is what I was doing for the last 10 chapters while you guys were running for your lives." And it's not as exciting. Now, I will say, Two Towers, the book, so much better than the movie. And Jared is here.
It's just us, huh?
Dude, I've been monologuing for 30 minutes. My brother sent me 2 texts asking about microphones, and he's not on the he's like, I guarantee you he's going to be, "I didn't realize that daylight saving, I thought it was spring backwards and fall forwards." Or I thought it was spring. No, I said it right. I thought it was spring backwards.
No, it's fall back and spring forward.
That's what he's going to say. He's going to get it mixed up.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, I got to finish my monologue. I got to finish my monologue about adaptation. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me just mute myself. And,
so,
we'll just...
okay, let me fix this. Okay, adaptation. So, right. The Lord of the Rings films are wonderful, wonderful adaptations because they know how to better serve the medium. And the movie absolutely shines because it doesn't try to be a one-to-one adaptation of the book. It's not trying to go scene by scene. It's saying, okay, what is the point of the books? And there are, like, most of the dialogue is 100% pulled from the books. There are very few lines from the movies that were created out of thin air, right? It's when it's time for dialogue, it's like yanked. It's like 90% is just directly quoting the book. Okay. So there are parts of it that you can do one-to-one adaptations of. But it was very, very intelligent of Peter Jackson to know that if I'm making a movie, I need to make it for moviegoers and make the movie parts of it shine. So making the fight scenes longer, making it more cinematic, getting music in there that was just phenomenal. Howard Shore, right? Was it Howard Shore? Did Lord of the Rings? You Google it while I keep monologuing. Okay. Don't interrupt me. Okay. Google. Accentuating what makes films great while trying to keep in as much of the books as possible. And he does, and I 100% believe he makes the first book better. But book 2.
Oh no, I could answer this for you. It's John Williams.
No, it's not.
Oh no, you're right. Okay, it is Shore.
It's Howard,
right.
It's Howard Shore. Yeah, screw you. Okay. Okay, so that we've talked about the sin that movies have to commit in adaptation is omission. Now the other choice is doing a TV show. With TV shows, you usually have enough time that you don't have to take anything out of the book. If you're smart, you can pretty much do a one-to-one adaptation. But if you did, it would be a very crappy TV show. What TV shows have to sacrifice in adaptation is structure. Because TV shows are episodic. And if you have a episode that's boring, people might not come back for the next one. I couldn't get past episode 5 of Avatar. I can't do it. I've tried like 6 times now. I'm done. I'm not going to finish the show. It's a bad episode and I don't want to keep going. So, trying to just do a one-to-one adaptation is not smart. And you have to sacrifice typically you have to sacrifice the structure of the book. Now, some books are written pretty well where they have build up and payoff within a chapter, and you can just take a chapter and say, okay, this chapter is going to be the episode, right? But then you'll also run into the problem of chapters typically focus on one character, and you read a character's chapter and then you jump between viewpoint characters. That's a lot harder to do in a TV show as well. So you normally have to take a couple chapters and squish them together into one episode, so you get the parallel storytelling that I was talking about with Gandalf and the Hobbits. Their stories happening simultaneously, which it doesn't happen in the books, and it sucks in the books.
Yeah, you can definitely do that, though. I mean, like, examples of stories like that. They're not adaptations, but like The Bear, right? Like, each episode is really focused on one particular person.
You can do it every once in a while. You can have an episode that only focuses on one character, or you can have an episode where a character is absent. But that's the exception, not the rule, right? Genuinely, you need to be following each character, each episode. And the other, structurally, you have to sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice. You have to move things around. You might have to change the timeline of events so that you have a satisfying finale or a cliffhanger at the end of every episode so people come back. Yeah. So, yeah. Movies typically have to sacrifice omission, cutting material, and TV shows usually have to sacrifice structure or reorganization, right? And Dune it's the best adaptation I have seen since The Lord of the Rings. It takes the essence of the books, like, it loses a lot because it has to leave a whole bunch out, but the stuff that is added serves to accentuate the medium that it is telling the story within. And oh man, Dune 1 and 2 are just gorgeous, beautiful, cinematic masterpieces they happen to be like 90% faithful to Dune, which is pretty freaking good for an adaptation. And I still have problems with it. I have problems with Chani's character. But I'm willing to let those changes go because of how, like, you can tell that Denis Villeneuve loves the books and wanted to put them on screen. It is a textbook case for how adaptations should be handled, and it should be studied in film schools, just like the Lord of the Rings films should be studied in how to approach an adaptation. Just like I absolutely believe Game of Thrones should be studied in film schools for both good and bad adaptation. It starts off really good and is pretty faithful to the books, and only has to omit teeny tiny things like, oh, people are upset that they didn't have Lady Stark come back as a gray ghost. Oh no, that's supposed to be in the book. She's supposed to come back as a ghost. You're like, okay, look. Even with a TV show, you got to cut some stuff. For the most part, it was pretty freaking faithful. And, we can talk about the last 3 seasons and the season 8 in particular, even more so. But, that wouldn't even be a conversation of adaptation. That's just because they weren't adapting anything. But if you haven't seen Dune, by all means, see it in theater. It should be studied for generations. And any author would be lucky to have a director 50% as committed to the source material as Denis Villeneuve. This is the cream of the crop, right? We're not going to get this all the time.
Yeah.
And it needs to be celebrated. I'm gonna watch it again. I'm definitely going back to the theaters. I'm gonna watch it a second time, which I don't do.
Yeah, you're gonna do it in get one of the Dune buckets.
I wish. I wish I had a Dune bucket. Anyway, Jared's finally here, so I can stop my 40-minute monologue. David has not texted you back. I was like, "You planning on joining the stream, bro?" Nothing. Oh crap. Oh no. I don't know what he's doing. Anyway,
happy daylight savings time. Did you forget to go to all your meetings or whatever? Did you sleep in or
no? I didn't sleep last night.
Oh, that would make it easier, I suppose.
Well, a Saturday was kind of like a catch-up date. Like I pretty much slept all day, and so I had a hard time. I was like replenishing from my lack of sleep throughout the week because I have insomnia and a horrible sleep schedule. And so Saturday I kind of slept all day long, and then couldn't sleep last night. So I've been awake since. I took a hour and a half nap, and then remembered, oh shoot, I gotta go join the Nerdporial to talk about the Wheel of Time at 5:00. So I've been streaming since then, but I feel pretty good.
Good.
I feel pretty good. I got a lot of rest yesterday. So yeah, Dune's doing pretty well.
Numbers. Sweet.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of articles with Madam Web, and they're like, "Yeah, we knew we weren't going to do great." And it's like, even the main actress, she's like, "Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of comparisons between like how Dune's doing right now and how Madam Web went, and she's like, "Yeah, I will never do anything like that ever again."
Yeah, this article is interesting. The response to Dune Part 2 is less about the movie and more about the current Hollywood's problems. Our writer argues that despite its flaws, Denis Villeneuve's sci-fi epic hit at just the right time because everything else sucks.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, yes, and okay, I think it's adequate because he's saying it's less about that, but like you can't deny that the film is a masterpiece.
It's just good. Yeah.
Like I think this doesn't give the film enough credit. Now, it's true that the bar has been lowered just exponentially by Hollywood being retarded.
Yeah.
But I don't think this gives Villeneuve enough credit. 90, over 90% Rotten Tomatoes rating, which what was the rating they gave? I think She-Hulk had like an 80% rating. I don't care about
really it was that high. Oh, but we know that it's broken anyway, so
yeah.
In fact, it's kind of interesting that they're still using that as like the golden standard.
I know, it's so HBO just needs to announce that Dune Messiah is greenlit. Like we already know Villeneuve is written the script or finishing writing the script. Just say, hey, we're gonna make a third one, okay? Just
yeah, everyone wants it.
Please don't stop. I want to see Dune Messiah so bad, and then pay him more money to keep going. Because I want to see Children of Dune so bad, and then pay him even more money and give him some drugs because he's going to need it to do God Emperor, because I want to see God Emperor on screen. I'll be content if we only get Dune Messiah, but obviously I want more.
Yeah, dude, it's movies like this though you go and watch and you're like, this is why people hope for adaptations. I think is because they see movies like this, and like you were talking about, like the Lord of the Rings, they see these excellent adaptations, and then they start looking at their favorite books, and they're like, hey, what if, for example, they made a Lightbringer movie, and they made like your series or whatever, like, and they adapted it in this sort of fashion. then you start getting hopeful for stuff like that, and then people start doing it, and then they screw it up with Amazon. No,
Villeneuve is too drab to do a Lightbringer movie, though. Like you need someone who's good with color. You know?
Yeah. I mean, well, I think with these particular examples, his catalog of colors obviously is very subdued, but like I think someone like him could definitely do a really good adaptation.
But if you've seen his other catalogs, he only does depressing films, right? Like he's great at it.
Well,
he doesn't have the optimism or religious background to do a Lightbringer well.
That's true. I guess that would be a big part of it. You would need to have,
I'm here like if we're talking just aesthetic, I kind of want to say
Anderson.
I kind of want to say Edgar Wright. Now, he hasn't done anything with like the amount of like CGI that would be necessary for that type of movie. It's going to require, like comic book movies level of CGI.
Yeah.
But like direction wise, like you got to do a lot of creative stuff with the camera in a Lightbringer movie. Okay? You're going to have to take a lot of risks. And
Dude, what if it was like a Nolan film?
Nolan has said he doesn't want to make movies in other people's universes anymore. Oh no, that was Villeneuve. Nolan might do if he did it, he would do a good job of it. I can't see him saying yes to that kind of project, right? Mm-hmm. That would be pretty good. What's up, man?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Nothing much.
We're just talking about Dune, waiting for people to show up for the stream.
I haven't watched Dune.
Dude, watch it.
Yeah, I prefer eating food than going to spend 300 pesos. The problem is that it's like 200 pesos for the ticket.
Yeah.
For the IMAX, and then is the ride there, which is like 100, no, like 200 probably. No, 400. No, it's not. Nah. It's gonna be like a K, like 1,000 pesos just to go watch that shit, and it's like.
Look at the angry Mexican being responsible with his money.
Yeah, no, I have like I bought my fucking 4K Ultra HD TV like when I had money, so to be able to watch shit like that, and I have my speakers here that are better than the speakers in the cinema. So I just figure out that I just wait till the goddamn thing comes. And for me, Dune is one of those things that cannot be spoiled because I don't understand any goddamn thing about it. So yeah, for me it's like
even if people told you the plot, you'd still be like, I don't know what's going on.
To fucking like thousands of you guys hours, well, not thousands of hours first, like at least 10 hours of you guys talking about Dune, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't understand. It's Chinese for me. I will read the book one day.
I'll save those other articles for if David ever shows up, but this was a super fascinating article that's kind of dragging Hollywood a little bit like they deserve. Dune Part 2 proves that movie budgets have gotten out of control. If Villeneuve was able to, and man, when you see it, you'll finally understand what we're talking about. It looks so good. You cannot tell that CGI is even happening.
Yeah.
There's not a single shot in the movie where you're like, oh, that's CGI. Obviously it is, because you can't do what they're doing in real life, but you cannot see the seams.
Yeah, it's like
it is.
I've seen. I remember Dune 1, and it's like maybe the only things were the helicopters, or the But this is just such a small thing that looks like CGI, but the rest is just incredible. I was blown away. And after watching how they recorded, it's more incredible even.
It's a snack, and they made like this is they're giant sandworms. That's gonna look goofy, and they make it look good, and they make it work for under $2 million. I love it. If they can make sandworms work for under $2 million, then so can you. And Words of Paradise, check out his channel, by the way. Done some streams with him. Points out, the Marvels cost 270. Indiana Jones 5.
I am truly believe that the Marvels was money laundering.
The Little Mermaid cost more money. The Flash, we know, cost more than
I mean, it had
220, but that's from all the reshoots, right? If we're just talking about CGI, sure.
Yeah, it's
how embarrassing. Look at The Flash and then Dune Part 2. You have we're talking about Shogun, like that is the amount of dishonor that would require seppuku.
Shogun.
No joke. Like I cannot imagine, showing up to work and being like, "Hey, did you guys? This is a group project. It's a group project, okay." And Jared here shows up. He's like, "Okay, I did my part of the project. I've got Dune Part 2." And then I show up and present The Flash, and I had more money for my presentation than Jared. I wouldn't show up to the meeting. Okay, if Jared starts his presentation, I would walk out, and I would not bring dishonor on my family. I would commit seppuku.
I would not bring dishonor on you, dishonor on your family.
Like, how embarrassed! Like, it is shocking to me that both of these things exist within the same, within a calendar year.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are all the Dune articles.
I mean, I'm kind of glad that exists, right? I'm kind of glad that happened because it shows.
Yeah, it shows you these people are retarded.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally laundering money. There's no other explanation.
Yo, Lemao, I just realized that you guys are live for like an hour. I thought that I was just coming in before.
Daylight savings, baby. Show. Daylight savings. You're not the only one.
I hate Mexico.
Dude, I was monologuing by myself for 40 minutes before Jared showed up. Okay? My brother texted me twice during the stream asking about other stuff. And I texted him back, "Are you going to jump on?" No response. Nothing.
We'll see if he jumps on still.
He's gonna come on. It's 8:00 right now, so he's gonna pop on. I thought I didn't daylight savings my butt.
That reminds me that I have to go earlier tomorrow to
work.
Yeah, but I was wondering, like, why am I woke up so early? Like, why am I up so early? I'm like, it's 5 in the morning.
David has no excuse. Your phone updates the time automatically, okay? Unless he's going off of the clock on his microwave, he has no excuse.
I did that earlier today.
He has no excuse to be late for the stream.
I have my excuse because Mexico is dumb.
Yeah.
And they didn't change the time. So now I'm 1 hour. No, now I'm at the same time with you guys until the end of the year. Yeah.
Well, they don't do daylight savings at all, right?
They used to do it, but our president, who is an ignorant fool and is dumber than Biden somehow,
he got rid of it.
Why even do daylight savings?
No, dude, I agree. Look, he may be dumb on other stuff, but man, I wish we would get rid of daylight savings here. It's retarded.
No, but he got rid of the other one, not this one. Like, this is the change. Like, my schedule. Yeah, the hours still change for this time, but for the other one, which is in December, it doesn't change.
So you only do it once a year instead.
That doesn't make sense. You're just going to be moving back in time gradually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, probably I misunderstood it, but he did something that messes
Uh,
with my entire thing. So yeah, because my phone still, I know for a fact that my phone's is hour still changed. Maybe because it's to American hour. I'm really confused, but yeah.
Yeah, you guys are in our same time zone. So
Then
I
I'm
mean,
glad that all of those gigs that we did were not safe for the pre-show and were actually on the live session of the show. So you guys already talk about Shogun?
no, because I was
no.
waiting for people to show up.
Ah, the Mao.
So
Yeah, I
I
actually
was
haven't watched.
monologuing about Dune and
I
adaptations.
haven't watched Shogun and Dune, so I'm like, I'm just here to chill and have.
Dude, what you gotta be watching Shogun, man. It's so
I'm
good.
gonna watch Shogun starting tomorrow. It's just that I start watching Breaking Bad again, and I just realized that that is the best show that I've seen in my life.
This is
Other, I don't know, House of the Dragon is hard to compare.
I keep saying this is like quality wise, this is like the best quality TV show I've seen since like Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad.
Nice, yeah. It feels like that. When I heard about it and I saw the shots, I was like, yeah, this has to be good. Like, there's no way. Just for the cinematography alone.
I think it's better than House of the Dragon.
That's a hot take. For real?
Well, it hasn't screwed up yet. House of the Dragon had that retarded episode
Oh,
that completely undermines the entire season.
I am no man. The I am no man episode.
The episode where she burns down all of the citizens in King's Landing.
The boss
Rhaenyra's
episode, yeah.
the black chick. I don't remember her name.
I don't remember. I don't even remember. It's been only 2 years, and I don't even remember the names. I had to reread the book before.
Yeah. But yeah, you got to watch Shogun. It is a treat. But
Yeah,
right before you jumped on, we were talking about Lightbringer again, what directors would make a good Lightbringer adaptation. And you very strangely brought up Wes Anderson, who would do an awful
I was just trying to be funny.
awful job at Lightbringer.
Yeah, I just thought it would be funny. Can you imagine Lightbringer with Wes Anderson? It definitely does not fit. I just thought it was funny.
It would be a plus if it was like a Christian director too. You know, if someone with faith, right? You got to have a little bit of faith. So, I mean, if this is gonna sound very bad, but if M. Night Shyamalan hadn't already screwed up with Avatar, I might put his name in the ring just for how well he's used faith as a theme in his like Signs.
Yeah, I was gonna say
one of the best Signs, Unbreakable, like his when he covers themes like faith in a film. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
and I don't want him to touch Lightbringer. But like if he hadn't stopped caring 10 years ago.
It's been enough time since M. Night Shyamalan did. Well, I don't know if it's been a long time since he did something bad, but it's been a long time since he did Avatar.
I completely understand, okay? I'm just saying that, like, you need to have, like, a faith element to Lightbringer. Like, it needs to... Okay. Sorry. Mark Clark, thank you so much for the $1.99. This is for Mexa to go see Dune or feed his cat. I need to keep track, actually, of the super chats that you get, Mexa. I'll send those to you.
Oh, thank you, brother. Yeah, don't worry.
Because I pay out your YouTube money now. Gosh, YouTube's so gay.
YouTube is really gay. I still have 11,000 pesos there that are, floating in space because YouTube won't give them to me. Yeah, that will freaking save my life right now. That will really. That will be really.
I can't think of any other director.
Yeah.
No, I don't like.
James Cameron.
I almost said Kenneth Branagh because Thor wasn't terrible, and that's a lot of colorful lights. But man, I also watched The Death on the Nile, and oh boy, that was some of the worst directing I've ever seen.
Oh,
that was that guy too.
Yeah, he did Murder on the Orient. He stars and directs in the Agatha Christie adaptations.
Really?
Yeah, he directed them. He did an okay job at Murder on the Orient Express, but man, Death on the Nile was garbage.
What if
I heard that the first one.
I haven't seen the Venice one yet.
What if like Spielberg took it?
No, he's so past his prime.
Hey, you don't have to be past your prime to perform.
What's the last thing Spielberg did? I don't even remember.
Have you? Oh, Mark, have you seen the Death Venice, Ghost in Venice? What is it?
Oh yeah, I saw
Murder on the Orient Express, Death on the Nile, Haunting in Venice.
Yeah,
is it good? Sounds like you thought it was good, so I'll check it out.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was all right.
I think it's free on Amazon. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Anyway, cool. I'm glad it's good because I wanted Death on the Nile to be good. I think the story is good, but what was the direction was so bad. Okay, Shogun. Here, this is funny. Collider. Shogun isn't likely to get a second season.
What?
Because it's one book.
Oh. They don't want to do a whole Game of Thrones thing.
Look, it is I forget what the series is called. It's called like the Japan series, right? Technically, it is part of a series of books, but they're anthologies.
I was going to say, you mentioned that it's an anthology, but this story hasn't seemed like an anthology.
Well, this story is one book.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me look up what the series is called. It's James Clavell, and it's just called Asian Saga. Super unique, right?
Oh wow.
So the Asian Saga, Shogun is actually book 3, but each book is its own story. Chronologically, Shogun takes place first in the 1600s. But each book is a completely different generation. And the underlying theme between all 6 books is just the meeting of 2 empires. Of the Western world and their introduction to the Japans and China, and how that changed and affected their development and the relationships between the 2 worlds that up until then had been pretty disconnected.
Yeah.
So Shogun is like they just discovered Japan, and the next book, which is actually the second book, is in the 1840s. And then the third one, there's another one in the 1800s. And then the first book, which is the 4th chronologically, takes place in the 1900s in a Japanese POW camp, right? So, and it goes up to 1980 with Whirlwind, which was the 5th book. They're all written out of order, right? So, yeah, Shogun's not going to get a season 2. They could follow it up with another book, but it would be a completely different cast, Just Collider, I barely know her. Yeah, okay, good job. Good job with that one, Mark Clark.
I know.
Like what? I don't think they're going to break the book up into 2 seasons. I don't think you need to. I think one season of television is pretty good for one book. Man, what a silly article. Were you confused, Jared, by the language?
Like in what
In
part?
Shogun?
No.
Apparently, it was really confusing to people.
Oh, well,
When they said,
yes.
"Hey,
I
we're
was
speaking
confused by
Portuguese in English," it
Well,
was pretty
because
obvious. They're
They're not
really in real life speaking Portuguese, but they're saying it in English for the audience's benefit.
Yeah,
It's not that complicated,
Yeah.
right?
but it was definitely like there were some times I was like, wait, you're speaking. Well, because the thing is, like, he says he's specifically from England,
Yeah.
and so
There
there's
were
this-
actually a couple lines where I think he was supposed to be speaking English too.
yeah, and that's the thing. So that did confuse me. Is that
But
he's
not
like,
it's not like that. It's not really confusing though, right?
I know, right? Like I was like, okay, yeah, maybe they're just translating it, for us, the audience, so that it's in English.
Oh,
But
do you
at the
guys
same
don't
time-
watch it with like CC, like closed caption?
No, it comes with captions. When they're speaking Japanese, it'll tell you.
Oh.
It has captions.
Oh,
and
damn.
then when they're speaking Portuguese, it's English.
Yeah, because the thing
Because that would be silly.
is they have all these translators, right? So all these translators, they're like, oh yeah, I know Portuguese. Like, yeah, I'll help you practice your Portuguese.
And they're speaking in English.
yeah, and then they're speaking in English, and you're like, wait, and he's English, so that
did-
was kind of confusing.
It wasn't that confusing. It was pretty obvious what they were doing. And
Yeah,
for
but at
like
the same
for
time,
the
like,
audience's
do you know
benefit too.
Portuguese?
Would you rather they just spoke Portuguese the whole time?
I know, but that's assuming as well that he knows Portuguese and is speaking in Portuguese.
Yeah, he
And
does.
so
He knows
it's like-
English and Portuguese.
Yeah, so but that's the hard thing is I think a lot of like that's like you're saying, obviously it's like, hey, it could easily be something like that, but it did come off a little. I did ask that question. I'll say it that way. There were
Okay.
times where I was like, wait, are they speaking
Yeah,
Portuguese?
yeah. I asked that question,
Yeah.
which was then immediately answered by the TV show. I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Oh, they're doing this. Great. It wasn't confusing."
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, that's.
I mean,
because
because you even have the Portuguese guys, but so
man, this show is fun though.
Yeah.
I think
Why are
that's
these woke, websites or news sites are trying so hard
Just
to
garbage.
disclaim a good show? It's like literally they just like feed by the machine or whatever. They're trying to mess with good stuff and always criticizing good stuff, and never criticizing the bad stuff that they get paid to praise.
but that's all they could come up with too is he speaking Portuguese?
It's
Yeah,
so good too, and having to watch this simultaneously with Avatar, where Avatar just holds your hand and tells you the same thing 6 times, so you
Yeah.
don't get lost. I'm the Avatar. Is he the Avatar? He is the Avatar. They fly now. They fly now. They fly now. Like, and then watching this, where you get the subtle dialogue, like House of the Dragon and TV shows that don't friggin' treat you like an idiot. It's so refreshing.
Yeah, I watched How to Dragon 3 times, and to this day I keep finding things that I miss.
Yeah?
in some episodes.
I need to rewatch it, but
Yeah, well,
There's-
mostly because I'm kind of ADHD, but yeah, it's fun.
but because it's so
fun
good,
to-
you're not going to rewatch something that's garbage. You're
Yeah,
going to pick one of your
exactly.
favorites.
Like I'm starting to say to think about rewatching the entirety of Breaking Bad, but giving it like a good, rewatch. Actually
think
sitting down.
I think I've gone through Breaking Bad 3 times.
I watched
It's either
Breaking
3
Bad
or
more
4,
times than
I
I
think
can
it's 3.
remember. I watched it like 20 times. But what I do is that I just put it like on the TV, running what I do shorts or what I do things. So I do not
Yeah.
put that much attention. I just like I basically do the thing like, hey, when I recognize something in the TV, and then I go back to do something else, right?
Yeah.
But now I'm rethinking like that show is so deep. that show's still in.
Mark
I think
hasn't
that
finished House of the Dragon.
yeah, I hadn't even finished Better Call Saul because I need to rewatch and to get all the references.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I know. I'd rather watch someone analyze them these nowadays. I don't know if you guys are the same but
Not
I
for TV
really
shows.
enjoy watching someone analyze something that I already watched a couple of times at least.
Oh, yeah, if I've already seen it, yeah, I do like that.
Oh yeah. If I already seen it, no. If I haven't seen it, it's like no. I'd rather have it, unless it's Dune because I don't understand Dune. I just see the
Every time they do it, I hear Ave Maria. Ave Maria. That's what it sounds like every time.
Okay.
Because you went to fire too many times.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, but yeah, watch Shogun. It'll blow your mind. I'm loving every second of it. Like it is the dialogue is wonderful. It's subtle. It's it's political intrigue. There's a whole bunch of crap going on. A whole bunch of different parties with different interests who all want the same thing for different reasons, and none of them are getting along, and it's just this wonderful spider web of a tightrope. Their tightrope. There's a bunch of. It's like 6 different tightrope walkers walking on spider web filaments, and someone's gonna fall through. Right, a lot of people are gonna fall through. It's gonna be wonderful. It's just a really intricate story. It's brutal. The first episode, a dude gets boiled alive. Okay. It grabs you by the balls and says, "You're gonna enjoy this, okay?"
This is gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, it has a good way of sucking you in and like you said, it doesn't hold your hand, and it really plays to that, where a lot of times you're trying to understand the political maneuverings that are happening, right? Because like it's also part of like, okay, I don't understand anything about their culture, so you're trying to understand their culture and what significance it has in their culture,
and why it's so freaking messed up.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of that for sure, and then there's
a bit of seppuku in it.
How these different cultures come together, and you have the Portuguese, the English guy, who's all of a sudden thrown into this this culture and is trying to learn his way and grow, right? Like that's the thing that I think is interesting, is to see him actively trying to actually become or like learn, the culture. And
he's actively he's trying to learn, he's trying to get their customs, and then he's put in the same room with the Portuguese priests, and he just like, no, I'm not even trying. Like, you guys suck. Yeah. And then he goes back to the Japanese. He's like, okay, yeah, teach me this. No, those Portuguese suck.
Yeah, and that's interesting too, right? Because you're like, it's all about they're very close in cultures, the Portuguese and the English, and yet they do not get along. And so for him to have these animosities and for him to be like, no, this guy does not speak for me, it's very interesting how that then comes off in the Japanese culture, and they're like, wait, why don't you like these guys? Like, what did they do to you? It's very good.
Reading this book watching the show and simultaneously reading Three Body Problem, I noticed so many parallels that I really, really want to write a book that I don't know if I'm smart enough to write, because I'm not good at science fiction stuff. But Three Body Problem is essentially an alien encounter, right? And it's kind of hinted at. So I don't know where it's going yet. I hope it goes a direction that would be that I would find more interesting. I don't think that's the focus of the book, though, which would be cool, because the story popped into my head. I was like, this could be one of the best sci-fi's ever written. Is this Shogun is the story of the Western world finding Japan and completely changing its development, right? Because you've got the Western world is not united. You've got England and Portugal and a bunch of other parties interested in controlling Japan. And Japan has 5 different political groups who all want different things. And just seeing how they interact would be fascinating. And maybe there's a sci-fi out there that exists like that, but I haven't seen one. Typically, when you get a First Contact science fiction story, either the world is already united under one banner, or First Contact is the inciting incident that unites the world under one banner.
Yeah.
And that is not how it would happen. I really want to write a sci-fi story that's just Shogun, but with aliens.
That would be
where
really good.
the aliens have different factions and the humans have different factions, and the first alien group shows up to Earth and establishes a trade route, and then a different faction from the same alien planet shows up and says, hey, do you want to trade with us too? Because we're currently at war with the other aliens. Like, that could be so good. Couldn't that just be fascinating?
Yeah, it definitely would provoke a lot of questions.
That sounds even better than the Star Trek episode, not gonna lie. It sounds
like I want to write Shogun with aliens. That would be so fun.
That could be fun.
Really
I'm
good.
probably not smart enough to do it. So if you want to do it, you can take my idea. I might get to it eventually. But man, that would be cool.
That would be really interesting. But yeah, Shogun's like musical. It's really well done.
You could do it a comic, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely could add some comedy in there.
No, a comic book or
So not only do I need to learn how to write good, I need to start drawing good too. Sounds like a great idea.
You can do AI, or you can always just AI.
I can do AI and get eviscerated over the coals like Shad Brooks is constantly on Twitter. I love that man. He does not care what other people think, and I love him for it. Babylon 5 did that? Okay.
I mean, like
I've only seen the first.
AI episode. Is like to do the models and just
do it. I saw the first like hour-long episode, and I saw the second regular length episode of Babylon 5, and I want to get back to it because it was very good. But anyway, Shogun's dope. The episode 3 was really good. It was sneaky. There's a lot of death happening. Like episode 1 is like, oh wow, there's a lot of just killing that happens, and then episode 2 there's even more, and then episode 3 is even more. You're like, who's left? Like, wow.
Humans are disposable, according to the Japanese again.
You want to FaceTime David? Well, he didn't answer my text, so I doubt he's going to answer my phone call.
Maybe he's asleep. He thinks that is night time.
No, he texted me. He texted me at 6:40, right before the stream, and then he texted me during the stream. You saw when that happened. So, and I responded both times. Anyway, don't know what David's doing.
Oh wow,
man, watch Shogun. It is a treat. Also, it's you know how when you watch Breaking Bad and all you want is just for Walter and what's the kid's name?
Pigman.
Jesse. Walter. All you want is for Walter and Jesse to just hang out and make meth and be happy, right? You just want them to get along the whole. You're like, Can we just get back to the good
Can
times?
we all just get along?
Like you just want him to be happy, you know? And I love that in episode 3 you spend like 15 minutes with with them swimming.
Oh yeah, at the end.
He's like, "Hey, the whole episode is just tense and people are dying and then they're on a ship, right? And the tension is over and the guy's like, "Will you teach me how to dive?" You're like,
yeah. And it's stuff like that. You're like, why wouldn't you know how to dive? So I think that's the interesting thing because you're like, okay, this is something that's part of their culture. Like he just doesn't swim, I guess, or he doesn't, right? Or do they not have? I mean, they have lakes and stuff, right? That they can go to.
They had some lakes, but I guess it's not normal.
But again, I think that is fun to see that contrast. To be like, we'll teach you how to dive.
If that was the whole episode, I would have watched it.
And the funny thing about that is that he just watches him. He's just like, yeah, I'll watch you for like an hour diving, and then I'll do it myself.
He just makes again. Show me again. Show me again. I have not read Shogun. I didn't even know it was a book series until I started watching the show, and I didn't even know about the show until like a couple weeks before it came out. I saw an ad for it and I was like, this looks really good. And then I heard the internet whispering about how it might be really good. And I'm definitely going to read the book now, but I have not. I didn't even know it was a thing. And it's some of the best TV out there, man. Yeah, in Babylon 5, they're at war with an alien race and then another alien race comes in. Yeah. That not quite what I want to do, right? But there's a story there.
Yeah, your idea
Shogun with aliens.
Like if those ideas from Star Trek and Babylon actually were developed into this specific trope. Yeah, it's a good idea.
It's a long book. Yikes. Hey,
I'm gonna drop in like a second because I'm falling asleep. I didn't even notice the time and I woke up at 5 because I thought it was 6. So
if you want another good show suggestion though, it's in the thumbnail. I watched The Gentleman on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know it was coming out this week. Okay, so
I didn't know either.
I love Guy Ritchie and I loved The Gentleman movie.
Yeah,
I think it's one of his.
Me
best
too.
ones.
Yeah. I thought it was like a great comeback from that awful movie.
You didn't like them? The right.
Yeah.
I like The Gentleman movie, and
but I love The Gentleman. Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
The TV show is fantastic. I binged the whole thing because they dropped it, which I hate. I hate that they drop all at once, and I wasn't planning on binging it, but I did. So really good. It's not a it's basically a reimagining of it's the same theme of the story, but it's not a direct sequel or spin-off. It's just it's the same story told from a different perspective and stretched out to 8 episodes. Really, really good. Yeah. So it's interesting to see a director like remake his own stuff. I think you would know the answer to this question. I didn't know that Shogun was a thing, so I have not seen the old miniseries. I didn't know that existed either. So now I have to look up that. So thanks for that, Jacob. Now I have to look up more stuff. Yeah, you can be sad anytime.
Next week is American Society of Magical Networks, right?
Does that come out next week? Oh.
Yeah, the 15th. I highly doubt that is coming out in Mexico.
Look, I'm torn.
Because why?
Yeah.
So I'm probably going to try to look in a website, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, I really want to see it. I do not want to give these people money.
Yeah. So what you can do is that I'm going to do a detailed review of it, and then you can watch the review. So probably going to be everything there. Oh my god, that movie looks like it's gonna be so bad. Do you see the reviews? The reviews of you can check it out actually on Rotten Tomatoes. It says when it's going out on theaters on the 15th.
Yeah, I thought I put it down on my schedule, but I guess it's not
Yeah.
there. Next week is also Invincible comes back.
Oh, for real? Nice. Yeah, but apparently the reviews are saying that the movie is not racist enough.
That's what I saw those. They're like, well, we wanted it to be even more racist, but they didn't go there.
You gotta love it. I love these woke lefties. They're so funny. But yeah, it's see you guys. I'm going to try to watch Dune. If not, I'm going to check it out when it comes out on Max, probably next month because such a no. It's gonna come out like in 2 months, right? Because such a big movie.
I forgot, but if this isn't a selling point,
Wow, Mifune.
the guy's name is Yoshi. Okay, Yoshi Toronaka. I love a Japanese accent. It's so better. It's so much better than Chinese.
Yeah.
Like it's
guy?
their last names. It's the last names. Like
How you watch the black guy?
Toronaka.
Fucking.
Oh,
Japanese.
that's a good name.
So funny.
Have you seen what?
Yeah, but see you guys next week and
See
have
ya.
a good one.
Okay.
Watch the review when
Yeah,
it comes out next Saturday, probably. Bye.
Yeah.
Toshiro. I gotta Google that name though. I'll probably recognize him and then be like, oh, that's who you're talking about.
No, it's the main dude. It's the dude that was learning how to dive.
No. This is the old Shogun series.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Fune.
Okay. I was like, what?
Toshiro Mifune. Oh yeah. He's in stuff. Seven Samurai. Yeah. Toshiro Mifune. I mean, Mifune. That's a good name. See you, Jacob. Peace out. We're not gonna stream for too much longer, too. But
No, because Alan's done with his monologue.
I'm done with my monologue. You guys can leave now. Yeah. No, the actor playing Toranaga in this one, man.
He's in a lot of stuff. He's a really good actor.
I love him, and he was the one who came out and said like, I will only agree to be part of this if you make it faithful.
Yeah.
Faithfully. Sanada, right? Hiroyuki. Man, I love Japanese names. I can't pronounce half of them, but Hiroyuki. Hiroyuki Sanada. Some good friggin' names, man. All right.
Probably why we enjoy watching all the different anime.
But dude, like, there's some good twists, right? Yoshi dresses up as a lady to escape. I was wondering what they were gonna do. I'm like, he can't just stay prisoner the whole time. I was like, oh, they do a switcher. So good.
And that's the thing too. He gets caught, so he's still like. It's not just like, oh yeah, he gets out and now he's just like ruling his empire. It's like, oh yeah, in the middle of this, he gets ambushed and has to like come out and he has to reveal himself. So,
go.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
So fun. Yeah, no, like I loved. Well, the episode 3 in particular, I loved that you've got. What's the white guy's name? Blackthorn. John.
Blackthorn.
I think they call him James a lot. And I always forget that James is a nickname for John and they're the same length. Whatever. Yeah, so Toranaga almost gets caught and then John goes out on a limb, throwing a tantrum to save him, right? You're like, oh, wow, that was really cool. And then the roles get reversed, and Yoshi's just like, peace! Sorry, Charlie! I gotta go!
Yeah.
And he's just like, what the fuck? Are you freaking kidding me?
Right? Like,
but it was a great scene. But like, you're like, it's like, he literally could do nothing, You're like,
yeah.
Well, I am bound by my honor. I cannot bring dishonor to my family. That no, he's not a Portuguese. He's a Spaniard. The Spaniard guy just really hates your guts and wants you to die. Sorry, I regret to inform you. I cannot help.
And then afterwards, he gets
Tougher-
past and he's like, all right,
Tough
I'm
luck.
like,
Oh man, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's a
It's
fun.
good writing. It's good
fun
writing.
show.
The actors have been doing a good job.
I like that it. The
storytelling.
problem is it comes out on Tuesdays, and I'm like, I could watch it now, or I could wait and have it like fresh in my mind for Sunday. You know, but every Tuesday I'm like, do I start it? Do I?
Yeah, I can't get to it until later. in the week
Sayonara,
anyways.
white man. Bye.
See you, Jacob.
Oh, what a good show. Yeah, watch The Gentleman. It's good.
Yeah,
It's a good show.
I that's definitely one I think I want to watch. Yeah, there was another one too that I was wanting to watch.
Invincible next week.
Oh, I
Three
mean,
Body
they have,
Problem
like,
comes out the
Damsel-
week after
Damsel
that.
movie.
Damsel, you want to watch that?
Why not?
I mean, it might be fun to laugh at.
Exactly.
I've heard it's getting bad reviews by the wokies too. They're like, we
Oh,
tried, and this was even a little bit too much for us.
That's funny. There's the 3 Body Problem too on Netflix. Like, I'm like, I kind of want to see what that's all about. I wonder how it is compared to the book.
I don't have a PO box, but I trust you, Mark. And if you DM me on Twitter, I'll send you my address. If you want to send me something, that'd be very nice. So, sorry, yeah, 3 Body Problems also gonna be on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I have I'm not racist, okay? And I love Japanese names, and I was struggling a little bit with Shogun, but because I can see their faces too, it's easier to keep track of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, the Chinese names in 3 Body Problem are really, really getting to me. And you people all sound the same, okay? I've spoiled stuff in the book like so many times because I have to have the wiki open just to keep track of who's who, because it's yi and yu and shi and chu and ching and ping and pong, and I'm loving the story, and I have no idea who the characters are because I can't keep track of them in my mind. If I was reading physically, it would probably be easier. But I'm listening on audiobook. I can't keep track of these characters.
Yeah.
And like the way it's pronounced in the audiobook is not how it like looks written. I get like one of the main characters is I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly. Yawinxia is her name. And it does not, when you look at the spelling, that is not what you see in your head. And so even looking at the Wikipedia isn't as helpful as it should be.
Because you're like, wait, is this the same person?
Like, yeah, we see it. And they don't always say the full name. Sometimes they just say, yeah. And I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. And it's non-linear. So it keeps jumping back and forth between timelines. And I'm like, wait, is this... I don't know if this is the same person or a different person with a similar sounding name, or if it's the same character but older. I don't know what's going on. I'm not racist. I might be just a little bit racist against your names. Okay, but at least I'm not. At least I don't discriminate against your people. Okay, love you, people. Great. Get better names. Okay. I can't do this.
Okay.
It's so hard.
I bet. I know. I bet
It's so hard.
Yeah, I actually think there's a lot on Netflix right now though, and I think I've been going more towards Netflix than places like Hulu or things like that lately, just because there's a lot on Netflix that seems to be interesting right now. So,
all right. Well, David never showed up, so I'm not going to talk about his Dune articles he sent me. But I do got to show you this. Here's one more. Here's a good meme to end the night on. From the Babylon Bee. Study finds that 100% of men would eat any fruit given to them by a naked woman.
That's crazy. 100%.
All hail the Lord Dragon. Hey, I guess you guys finally finished talking about the Wheel of Time. Yeah, we're just ended. I'm ending the stream already too because it's been a long one. Yep, fact check true. Hey,
oh, you know what? You know what else I watched this week?
Aldan, if you ever want to come and talk about Shogun, we got like 8 more weeks of it, or 7 more weeks. Just let me know. Yeah, what did you watch?
The State of the Union, baby.
Oh my God. Dude. It's been you know how we were just talking about like it's hard to find a good sitcom? Search no more, man. What a good time.
Oh man. That's fun.
I was laughing my head off.
Seriously, those things. The thing that I love about watching those is like half the room is on their feet the whole time because they don't know when to actually applaud or give a standing ovation, and the other half's just
nope. Yeah, he said a sentence. He got a sentence.
Right? It's so funny to watch that. I'm just like, guys, seriously, just like sit down. Like,
well, I wasn't going to make this stream political, but since you brought it up, there's a couple more memes on Twitter. So, like, not the State of the Union, but the Supreme Court decision. Have you been reading about that?
No, I haven't heard about that yet.
Well, so it was Colorado decided to just arbitrarily remove Trump from the ballot.
Oh yeah,
because he's an insurrectionist, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
Even though he has not been convicted of anything yet, and a lot of that's just been thrown out because it's wrong. The Supreme Court, for the first time in, I don't know if it's ever happened, but if it has, it's been a very long time, had a unanimous decision.
Really?
9-0. Bipartisan unanimous decision to throw out California's garbage ruling. Like, you cannot do that.
Oh, wow.
So even the 3 or 4, I think there's 3 like lefty judges. Like even in there, like 9-0, 100%. Everyone should be agreeing on this. The media is still trying to spin it with stuff like this. The decision to allow voters to choose likely means the end of democracy.
That seems a little backwards.
I mean, it seems that's kind of the definition of democracy. Which is funny, you know, that's not even getting into how much I hate the word democracy because we don't have one. Yeah. Democracies are bad. This is a constitutional republic by design for a reason, because democracies are inherently unstable and have always, in the history of always, led to dictatorship.
Yep.
That's how it works. Democracies have never been stable. But this one is pretty funny too. Keith Olbermann got mad about it. The Supreme Court has betrayed its. So they've literally called Ketanji Brown Jackson a white supremacist. I don't have that one pulled up, but a couple people are. They're like, we need to dissolve the Supreme Court because we've been betrayed. And everyone's like, it's cry more. It's 9-0. And his response was, these aren't tears on my face, fascist. It's urine.
What?
I'm sure you enjoy being bathed in it.
Wow.
Like, what does that even mean? This made me laugh so hard.
Wow.
I don't. This guy's got the biggest TD. Like, I can understand disliking Trump. Okay, he's not for everybody. But the Trump derangement syndrome just destroys people's brains, man. I like it. It is hilarious how bad people get. Anyway, so that was a very political way to end this. So thanks for that, Jared.
Hey,
it wasn't me.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to end with a comedy. Hey, like I'd rather watch old people than some of the stuff that's on TV. But old people doing standing ovations for.
Here, this is funny. Let's go back to nerds. Dune Part 2 is a perfect adaptation because it changes the books. Look, I agree. It's a good. It's not perfect adaptation. It is a good adaptation.
My God,
but it stays loyal to the book by changing it, and they're supporting the Chani changes here. And I'm like,
Well, I mean, it kind of goes back to what you were talking about.
It does.
That, like,
it introduces
of what you're trying to get at.
Right. It introduces an important aspect of the books by making a change, but it should not have been done through her character. It is it's wrong.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like, I understand showing that the Fremen were divided is a change from the book that was smart because it better explains the fact that their religion is made up by the Bene Gesserit, right? You get that more so from Bene Gesserit dialogue than you do from the Fremen, right? And so you needed to... It was a smart way to get the information across to the audience that their religion is fake. But it should not have been done through Chani's character. So, that's my hot take.
Yeah.
So while I agree on principle, I don't agree with this article. It's a really stupid way of saying it.
Yeah, that is funny.
Anyway. We'll see you guys next week. We'll talk about more Shogun. We'll talk about the Invincible. And we'll probably end up talking about Dune again. Yeah. I'm tired, though. I haven't slept. So I'm going to go do that, I think. My Avatar videos are doing pretty well on YouTube. That's fun.
Yeah, that's great. Good for you.
I've gotten some people very angry at me in the comments, which I always think is funny. So.
Well, I'm glad they're doing well.
They're doing quite well. I might showcase some of these comments. They're really funny. I'll do it next week.
All right.
Anyway. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for showing up. It's been tired. I'm tired. I need some sleep. So.
Yeah, good discussion.
Anything else you want to say?
No. It's I think there's more options right now for good media.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air. It's a nice little reprise. It's a reprieve, not a reprise.
It's nice. It's nice to be able to talk good about some of the media that's coming out right now instead of always talking about how poorly the Hollywood's been doing. And
I know, and even Bearded has been negative about Avatar. I'm like, wow. I don't know if it's me corrupting you or if it's just really that bad. Yeah. I love that. Like, you were like the first half. You're like, it's not that bad, guys. And then you watch the second half of the season. You're like, okay,
it definitely got worse.
It's pretty bad.
But I mean, it was still fun. Like, I enjoyed watching it. There were still parts where I laughed, but it was definitely better at the first part. So, it wasn't quite what I wanted and was expecting, but I don't know. I mean, apparently they've been greenlit to go another 2 and 3, so we'll at least see 2 more seasons of that, hopefully, and maybe it gets better. So
it does make Korra look better, yeah. Oh, does it make Korra look better?
Oh
no, Korra sucks. Korra's woke. Korra's woke on purpose. Avatar is accidentally. It sucks because it's not trying to be woke, but it was written by people who aren't good at writing.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit more of that in these ones.
It is. It's a byproduct of wokeism. It's Hollywood realizing, hey, we better, pull off the gas pedal a little bit because it's clearly not working. But we've hired all of these writers who aren't good at they're not good at anything else,
it wasn't like extremely, in your face, but there were definitely things where you're like, oh, well, that they changed that, and why? I wonder why they changed that sort of thing. And so there's definitely parts of the show like that where it's a little disappointing because the original was so good, and like you don't need to change stuff like that to be able to get your diversity in. It's just we don't want to see that, and we don't need it. We don't need it.
I mean, there's plenty of diversity already in the original series. So
yeah, exactly. It was good and wholesome before, so just keep it good and wholesome, and let's try to keep those same things that were
the good kind of diversity is having options. Good diversity is having 5 different pizzas that are a different flavor. Each pizza, you have 5 different flavors. The bad kind of diversity is putting everything on one pizza.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste good.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't know if it's that simple, obviously, but I mean, it's not a bad analogy.
I'm sorry. Are you a bigot? You don't put pineapple on your pizza? You don't put pineapple on your chicken, Alfredo, pepperoni,
oh man,
mustard pizza?
Hey, but there's sometimes you got to experiment, and you got to see if that pineapple goes with that Alfredo.
Right. But if you have a company that goes around saying, nope, sorry, you don't have pineapple on this pizza, even though it's a sardine pizza. You're like, yep, this is a diverse pizza. We're telling a story about sardines. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, you need pineapple on that.
I agree.
But the story's not about pineapple, it's about sardines.
Yeah.
No, your story's not diverse. It needs pineapples. Pineapples obviously refer to black people. So,
obviously, okay. Anyway, yeah, it's not.
You don't take it home to your mother. Oh, okay. All right. Bye. See you next week.
And now it is time to say goodbye.
We had a great conversation.
It's been fun. But all good things must come to an end, and the goodest ending I can think of is...
Right now, this moment, this night.
So I guess we just say goodbye.
So, goodbye.
Toodaloo. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Ciao. Ding dao day. But come back next week for more outrageous bloopers.
This is the end.
Well, there's only one thing left to do.
I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife.
Subscribe to the channel and you can join us along for the ride. And if you pay me, I'll try to be more entertaining. So please consider joining.